What is up? What is going on, everybody? I am back with the Mariners post-game recap. First and foremost, apologize. I'm not at home right now. Not going to be home until much later. Didn't want to wait till too late on Sunday night to get the post-game recap up. So I figured I'd hop in here and do it. Apologize, the sound isn't the best quality. I'm literally using my cell phone for this one, so nothing too crazy here. But wanted to get the post-game recap up for you guys because what a day it was for the Seattle Mariners. They defeat the Kansas City Royals 3-2. They hold on. The Royals once again battling back. And now the Seattle Mariners are all alone. They are lonely at the top by themselves in first place in the American League West. Just crazy. Absolutely crazy to think of it. And as optimistic as I've been for this team, even I didn't necessarily think they'd be able to get back. Just lost too many games. Thought they were too many games behind Texas there for a while. Like I said, I've been one of the more optimistic people about this team. But man, they get back to it and surpass Texas. Now you got to hold it. Now you got to hold that lead and hope that they can keep that going. And I have the absolute utmost faith in this team right now. I said it yesterday, I think this is the best team in the American League right now. I'm not going to shy away from that take. I think there's teams that can compete with them. There's no surefire path. I don't think they're guaranteed to be in the World Series or anything like that. But I will absolutely put this team up against any in the American League. That's not trash talk. It's not jinxing anything. It's just how I feel right now. I'm going to be, the pitching's amazing. The bullpen has enough depth. And the offense has been red hot. It's a team that can get you at all three levels. They do not have a weakness. I shouldn't say that. The three unit, offense, special teams, offense, bullpen, and starting pitching, none of them are weak spots. There are weaknesses. Every team has weaknesses. But they don't have a weak unit, in my opinion. So I think it's going to be a team that's going to be very hard to beat. Texas lost. Houston did win. Toronto lost. So you have essentially, I know our folks on the OS have about a 4.5 game cushion right now on a playoff spot as well. So a lot of baseball left, still 31 games, but starting to feel pretty confident. Let me scoot up here a little bit, that this team is going to, at the very minimum, going to be playing postseason baseball. Luis Castillo absolutely dominant for 7 innings tonight. The bullpen, Gabe Speier came in. Listen, gave up kind of a seeing eye single. Velasquez got a 2-run home run. That wasn't good. The next hit Speier gave up, if he just doesn't put his glove up there, Rojas would have made the play. And then he did almost get a double play ball turned behind him as well. So I didn't think Speier was bad. The home run wasn't great. But with anybody, that's going to happen. I think Gabe Speier will be fine. What a job by Justin Topa. That was not an easy situation to come into. Garcia's a good hitter, or at least a decent hitter, a pesky hitter, struck him out. Bobby Witt just got a ground ball through the hole. Topa did his job there. And striking out Sal Perez in that at-bat is not an easy thing to do either. Perez has given the Mariners fits. He's a good hitter. That was a great outing from Justin Topa. And how about Andres Munoz in that 9th inning strikeout the side? I told you guys in the video, Munoz is going to be fine. Do I think he's been as dominant as 2022? No, but he may not be. 2022 Andres Munoz, especially in the second half of the year, is one of the better relievers we've seen in a while. But he's still a really good pitcher, and there's no reason to think he cannot be a lockdown player for this team. Great to see from Castillo with that dominant start. The Mariners had to get 3 runs today on a solo home run from Teoscar Hernandez, who continues to be red hot. 3 home runs in 2 games. And then Julio Rodriguez with a 2-run bomb, really similar to yesterday's 2-run home run that he hit, to give the Mariners enough cushion that they needed. Not an offensive explosion today, certainly not one of their stronger offensive games that they've had in the last couple weeks, but they didn't need it. The pitching was dominant today, and again, the offense did just enough. One of those wins we kind of talked about early on, how this team was built to win games. Strong starting pitching, bullpen finishes it off, and the offense does just enough. It's crazy to think the last 2 losses this team has had, the last 2 have been walk-off losses. I mean, this team has not had, and then before, so the last 2 losses they had was Chicago this week, walk-off that they led in the 9th inning, Kansas City, walk-off, which they led in the 9th inning, the 2 Baltimore games, which weren't walk-offs because they were at home, but if you could lose a walk-off road game, that was them. And then before that, the winning streak. This team is just, they could legitimately be on a 24-game winning streak. They've had some close wins in there as well. So again, as I always say, you can't take away close losses and then not take away close wins. But just from a standpoint of Mariners fandom, this team is just absolutely on a roll. And guys, it's going to be tough. Like, there's 31 games left. Texas is not going to roll over and go away. Houston is a really good baseball team. They ain't going anywhere. Wild card, Toronto's a good team. Toronto's a good team. They're going to fight, and they're going to win some games here down the stretch. Mariners still going to have to play good baseball. They absolutely are going to have to play good baseball down the stretch. Nothing is in stone yet. Yeah, you don't buy your tickets yet. But this team is built to do it. Like, that's the thing. It's not like there's no longer, to me, that feeling of the other shoe falling off, where you go, oh, yeah, but you got to go 20-12 now to get in, or 20-11. This team can absolutely do that. This team should do that. Like, I think if you look at Fangraph's odds, and those can change, every day or so, but this team is favored to win this division, I believe. They are the favorites. They are the likely odds-on winner to be the AL West champions, and possibly, you don't even think of it because you're focused on other things. This team could have a bye during the wild card round. In fact, if they win the division, they likely will, because Minnesota will be the third division winner, and very unlikely to catch Seattle in terms of record. So just phenomenal. One thing I don't like to do a lot, guys, I don't like to toot my own horn on things, and the season's not over. 31 games left. They could go 2-29. I don't know, but I really don't want to like to do it, but I'm going to do it a little bit. I told you guys, I sat here during the trade deadline, during the Paul Sewald trade, during the trade deadline, and I defended this team. That doesn't mean I didn't think they handled the trade deadline, everything perfectly. Would have liked another bullpen arm. I think that would have been nice to have. I think we'd still all agree, maybe another veteran reliever in there would be nice. And a starting pitcher to kind of offset, the innings limits on Miller and Wu a little bit. A veteran starter that maybe can come in there and take some of those innings away. Now, I will say the bullpen did add Trent Thornton, who I think has performed just as well as most veteran starters would. And they did sign Luke Weaver, who could potentially kind of be that sixth starter that could make a few starts for them as well. But you had a lot of people, Mariners fans. I'm not calling out names because I don't really know all the names. I'm not trying to make this to be like a ha-ha. But you had a lot of people making videos and stuff that were just up in arms at this front office, couldn't believe what they did at the trade deadline. How dare they not, be more buyers and everything, and they sold him short, and then they traded the closer. It was going to be a disaster for this clubhouse, and it was just a terrible job by Jerry and Justin and everybody, and I defended it. I sat here and said I thought they did a pretty good job. I thought they got great value for a Paul Sewald trade. Paul Sewald blew a save last night. I love Paul. Paul's great. I'm not knocking Paul Sewald at all, but closers are volatile. Bullpen arms are volatile, and they can drop off from year to year, from week to week. We've seen Andres Munoz struggle at times. We've seen Matt Brass struggle at times. Gabe Spire had been the most lights-out reliever for a month, struggled a little bit today. Justin Topol went through a stretch where he was amazing. Then he sort of was a little bit. Now he's back to amazing. It's what bullpen arms do. If you can get the value they got for a bullpen arm, 9 times out of 10, you take it. Unless your bullpen is just so depleted that you can't do it. But the addition of Josh Rojas, Canzone, all those deals, as people are screaming out there, hopefully everything's okay, are going to be, more than enough. Excuse me, I lost my train of thought there. Are going to be enough to help push this team over the top. And if you can trade a bullpen arm to do it, you normally do it. And then you still have Ryan Bliss down Tacoma, who's been red hot, who could come up and maybe make an impact this year, still potentially in September, and be your everyday second baseman last year. People got on for the moves they didn't make. They were kind of ripped for that. And yes, I would have liked a reliever and starting pitcher. The market was insane. Look what Paul Sewald got. That was a pretty hefty return and for a really good reliever. David Robertson got a legit prospect. Relievers were not cheap at the deadline to go get. So they looked at it and they went and got Trent Thornton, Bizardo, relievers that may be more under the radar. They could perform well for this team. Now, Bizardo's back in AAA right now, but guys that could make an impact on more low-end type deals. So, and again, this is not a gotcha to anybody, but just a reminder to take deep breaths, people. That's what I really, for my channel, it's and people told me that, like, they appreciate that. It's that voice of reason. I'm not saying this to be like, haha, I was right. It was just, guys, take a deep breath with things. It's not getting, whatever random reliever was not going to be the end of the world. Tommy Pham, Mark Canha were not going to be the end of the world for this team not to get. And again, I think they could have made some additions. I'm not saying they were perfect, but it doesn't mean that this team is destined for failure. And we've seen them turn on. Maybe they crash and burn. I don't know. But I think so far the patience is a virtue is definitely paying off with this team. And the other thing I said is, what's the most important thing this team needs to do at the deadline? I said the current roster has to play better. the Teoscars, the Julios, the Cal Raleighs, Ty France. All those guys have to get better. If this team's going to compete, there's no trade deadline acquisition that was going to do anything if the current roster didn't start improving. And all of them have. Even Ty, as frustrating as been, and oh my gosh, is Ty slower than molasses. I don't know how he didn't beat out that play. I actually think he was safe, but the fact that it was even close is just Ty's cement mixer shoes going on there. And I still, Ty's have been great, but he's been better. We've seen how Teo's heated up. Julio is gone from like kind of to, I mean, top 4 in the American League in F4. Cal Raleigh is leading catchers in baseball in F4. He's 11th in baseball coming into today for F4. These guys have all started to play better. And the bullpen stepped up too in Paul's absence and gotten some really nice performances. Had guys like Spire Topa. Now they were all playing well, so they didn't necessarily need to step up. But the key position players have, and that was the most important acquisition. Mariners beat the Royal State 3-2. Again, not a game that I'm sending to Cooperstown as the greatest win ever. Luis Castillo was extremely dominant. I know there was some stuff like, should Scott have left him in for the 8th inning? Again, I will always say, like, yeah, he could have. I don't think it would have been the worst thing to try and get 8 out of Castillo. But I think with a 3-run lead against an offense that is not great, although they have been super pesky against the Mariners, I think he felt pretty confident in Spire, Topa, Munoz, who were all rested after yesterday, to get you 6 outs there. So I think he could have left him in for 8. I wouldn't have thrown a big fit over it. But again, I think it's one of those things that, like, it's easy to look at and say, why'd you do that after Spire gives up a home run to Velasquez? Castillo might have given up that home run. You never know. And then we're going, why didn't you take him out at 100 pitches? So again, I thought Scott was fine tonight. So that's my take on it. An amazing win, all alone in first place. Just so much. I'm having a blast with this season. I hope you guys are too. Don't wait for the other shoe to drop. Enjoy what's happening now. Enjoy it now. So thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the channel page for membership info. I will have my first members only live stream tomorrow with a giveaway. I'm also going to start doing membership shout outs at the end of the videos. I would have done today. I just don't have any access to my computer stuff because I'm doing this on my phone. So hit that subscribe button on the road to 2,500 subs. Like the video. That just helps YouTube get it out to more people. Comment and let me know what you're thinking of this team. The vibes are good, right? The vibes are feeling really good. Have a great Sunday, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. If you're a member, I'll see you tomorrow for the live stream, and I'll see you all for the post-game recap tomorrow as well. As Mariners start another series against a team they should be taking care of in the Oakland A's. You never know. I will always say take 2 out of 3 because I don't think you can go wrong winning 66% of your baseball games. And I think the Mariners do have to face Mason Miller and J.P. Sears in the series, who are 2 legit major league pitchers. They are capable. And the A's have brought up some prospects that are playing a little bit better baseball as well. So take care of business, win the series, and let's keep the good vibes going. Enjoy your Sunday, everybody. And as always, go first place, Seattle Mariners. Peace.